Hey everyone, and welcome to the Mae Cave. My name is Megan, and today I'm going to do a book review. So the book I'm going to review is an advanced reader's copy I won through Goodreads from BookSparks Press, so thank you very much for this book, BookSparks. That was a handful. And it is A Dangerous Woman from Nowhere by Kris Radish. This book is set in the Western frontier, 1860s of the U.S., kind of like the Gold Rush era, and it's centered around a woman named Briar, who is the dangerous woman from nowhere. And she had a really horrible childhood, so she eventually grew up to learn in certain ways that how to survive off the land and ride and shoot and everything, so she's not your typical housewife woman. And she finally found happiness with her husband, Porter Logan. But at the beginning of the book is at the fall of what she thought might be the end of her happiness, because her husband is kidnapped by gold miners because he knows how to work with dynamite, so they want him to blow up the mine so they can get at the gold that's underneath the dirt. So her husband is kidnapped, and she decides she needs to save him. Obviously, he's her husband. She's going to want to do everything she can. And she decides to go on this adventure to try and follow the trail and save her husband. And along the way, she picks up two people who decide to help her, regardless of whether or not she wants that help. A young man who also has a troubled past, and a notorious female horse trainer. So that's the basis of the story, and I think it started out well. It had an interesting beginning scene, and then it went to this kind of slow pace that slowly built up and up and up as you went through the story. And I was actually okay with that. It didn't really drag, but it was still kind of slow, but it kind of set the scene for some of the plotline devices later, and I really enjoyed the book. I ended up loving it near the end, and that final scene right before the epilogue I think was really beautiful, and I always think of that scene now. I think it was the most beautiful scene in the book. But the characters and their friendship that arrives between Briar and these two people that help her and some other characters in the book, I think it's really nice to see that it's not just about the love and the romance between husband and wife, which is a great thing, but that happens a lot in novels, and it's nice to see her friendship blossoming with other people when she's this closed-in, closed-off woman who doesn't accept any help and any kind of... She has very few friends, and she obviously has her husband. So it's nice to see that aspect and that perspective in this book, and the fact that also that those friendships kind of take the book in a different direction than I expected. The events of them finding her husband and saving him didn't go how they expected them to go, and there are other events in the story and the second half of the book that were very different than what I was expecting, and I actually really enjoyed that. And I originally thought it was just going to be, okay, she's going to ride in and she's going to save the day and her husband is there and woohoo, happy ending. But it wasn't that at all. There was a lot to it, and I think it was a great novel for friendship and learning to open yourself up to the possibility of friendship beyond just, the one person that you can rely on, and of course yourself. My only real con about this book is the epilogue. When I first read the book and I finished it, I thought, why wasn't this longer? It's a really short book. It's barely, not even 300 pages. And it ended on a great note. I feel like if she had ended it there without the epilogue, it would have been still a beautiful book. I would have wondered what would have happened afterward, but I still think it would have been a great novel. And then she had the epilogue there, which it felt like she was trying to tie it all up and put a nice little bow on it. But it felt like she was trying to tie off the storyline and be like, okay, there, that's done. Whereas after reading the epilogue, I felt, well, why couldn't it have been longer? Because the epilogue could have been longer. It couldn't have just been the epilogue. It could have been the second half of the book, or it could have been a second book. And I thought there was enough information in that 4-page epilogue that it really could have expanded the story to a second novel, and I felt that would have been a novel I could have, sunk my teeth in and really fell for as well. So that was a little disappointing, even though I'm grateful now that the information is there because I know there isn't going to be a second book. So it's nice to see that, learn all about the characters in that way. But I think it would have been better had it been a sequel instead of an epilogue. So that's my main qualm with the story, with the book itself. But otherwise, I thought it was a really great novel. I think the setting was really great. I haven't actually read too many Westerns, and this isn't obviously your typical Western novel like Louis L'Amour or Larry McMurtry or something like that. And this is actually the first novel I've read by Kris Radish. I've seen her books before. The ones that I have seen seem like contemporary novels, which I don't always read. The book in this particular copy, they actually mention some of her other books, and one of them is The Year of Necessary Lies, which I think is another historical fiction novel, which sounded interesting. And I like this one enough that I will probably read that one as well. So I suggest this book to anyone who enjoys Western settings or really strong female characters, or just strong characters in general. They're not all females. There are some men in there too that are strong characters. And I really enjoyed this. I felt like it could have been longer, or it could have been expanded on, but otherwise it was a great novel, and I highly recommend it. I believe I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I will link my Goodreads review down below. And if you guys have any questions or criticism for me, or if you like my video, or if you didn't like my video, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!